From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time, the closing bell for Friday, April 19th, 2024. Hats off, the weekend is here. As we like to say on Friday, Fade the Public Friday from way, way back. Don't be the pizza man. It's payday. Everyone's got good intentions. Whether we make the right intention is, of course, the logic that needs to be made today. Do the right thing. Go home, have dinner, pay your bills, and then have some fun. Don't head to the local barbershop, the local tavern, the sports book, the casino. Play the early game. Tell the wife you're bringing pizza home. Next thing you know, you're tied up in a West Coast game, Arizona at San Fran. It's 10:15, 10:30, and the wife's calling. Where's the pizza? It's on the oven. And you get home at 11:30. Wife's in bed, but there's your pillow and blanket all set for the couch. Too many of those days way, way back. That's what me and Riley are here to do, to keep you away from the pizza man and the couch at 11:30, 12 o'clock. First and foremost, shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, WagerWire. If you have not downloaded the app, please run on over to Google Play or wherever you download the apps. It's free. And scroll to the bottom, take advantage of all the states, the sports books that are available in your state. Take advantage of the promos, the match plays, and all the good bonuses that these guys are offering. Start window shopping. Why pay minus 127 on a game today where you can scroll 4 apps down to the right and get it for $119, $113, $10, $12, $13 savings for every 100 that you play. If you're looking to join the WagerWire team, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you. Travis, Zach, the rest of the team and community will welcome you with open arms as we get ready to take the plunge through the rest of 2024, a Olympic year in Paris. Maybe I should practice my French, Riley. Oui. And then we'll get closer to football and all that other stuff. So without further ado, let's bring him in, the one and only Mr. Southside Riley himself. What's up, champ?
Good afternoon, my friend. Happy Friday afternoon, evening. We are, as you said, ready for some Fade the Public Friday. Got a couple of NBA games, obviously, that are worth talking about. Not quite as star-studded and fun as you might like, with obviously the two best players in each, or the best player of each game, being out of each game. But it kind of makes it more interesting for us to break down and figure out what's going to happen in those games. And then obviously we've got plenty of MLB to break down and maybe touch on some look-aheads this weekend to some of these series that are coming up. So feeling very good, very ready for this Friday. Obviously my Bulls are front and center, one of the two games tonight. So for a chance to date with your Boston Celtics there. So, whoever gets the win, only a certain amount of joy for so much time. But obviously, the Bulls in a revenge spot from a year ago. So, curious to see how that one shakes out. But obviously, no Jimmy Butler and no Zion Williamson there with the Pelicans. Curious what you were thinking when that transpired with 45 seconds to go. Zion's playing one of the best games of his NBA career, and then once again the hamstring tweaks. And I mean, we talked about again. I am so glad. I shouldn't say I'm glad because obviously he ended up getting hurt. But we talked about are any of these teams going to kind of take a night off and try and punt into one of these two games, and neither of these teams really did. The Heat and Pelicans. They obviously gave it to their opponents to run for their money, but I mean both teams are probably kicking themselves. I mean you wouldn't. It would be bad for the integrity of the game to rest these guys down the stretch when you're close in these games. But you know what I'm saying? Where had they pushed their chips into tonight, they'd obviously have their two stars. But again, I would not root for that. But we did talk about it a little bit the other day, and here we are with these two stars out of tonight's games.
It was funny. We did the closing bell that night, and I swore, I said to everyone, hey, someone close to me goes, hey, what do you think of the play-in games? And I said, if you want my honest to God's truth, I don't give a rat's ass about them. I says, the 4 teams in the West playing and the 4 teams in the East playing the next night, none of them deserve to be in the playoffs. It's just an NBA money grab. A couple more games filled the seats. And I get it. I do. I mean, you saw probably the last bullet from the Steph Curry run that they had, that dynasty. Now, what they do in the offseason, I don't know. I feel bad for someone like Klay Thompson. He couldn't have thrown it in the ocean sitting in a boat in the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean that night. Turn the TV on and hear the Miami Heat up 11 at half and the rumblings on social media. Oh, it's playoff Jimmy. It's playoff Jimmy. And what happens? Jimmy gets hurt. Zion Williamson down 18 at half and playing the game of his life. And here come the Pelicans tied. 3 minutes to go, timeout. And Zion sitting on the sideline, and next thing you know, runs to the clubhouse, the training room. Neither one of them available tonight, and as well as Caruso, who's banged up for your Bulls as well. So
he might be available, actually, though. He might be trying to play. Not to cut you off, but I think he's trying to play.
So I look at some opening numbers there. Again, New Orleans opened up 1-point favorites. This morning, I saw some Sacramento money come where they were 1-point favorites. Now, a pick at South Point, currently at the Circa, Superbook, and Caesars. New Orleans -1. Miami 2.5-point favorites overnight. Now 1.5 across the Vegas Strip. So we're going to get into that very, very soon. I wanted to start today, Riley, with some funny business going on with less than a week to go now with the draft. You remember last year, Mr. Levis, not only his fall, but the cut every pick, the cut to the experts on the show, Mel Kiper. Well, what do you got left on your board? Well, of course, there's Mr. Levis here. His girlfriend in the red dress, an absolute knockout. I mean, and every pick, there goes another 100,000. There goes another 100,000. Well, we all know Caleb Williams is going to the Bears. We know that. And we know for a fact Jaden Daniels is going to Kingsbury, and the Commanders. The talk of the town is what's going to happen at 3. Are the Patriots going to take Drake May, who slid, or are they taking J.J. McCarthy? Well, guess what happened last night? The Circa and everyone else put out who will be drafted first, Drake May or Jaden Daniels, both at -115. Are you buying what they're selling?
I try not to buy anything like that as far as what they're saying. I think Drake May could be a solid NFL quarterback, but every single year, I mean, they almost try to do it for a month or so. Maybe not the odds, but as far as the media with Caleb Williams and question marks of should Jaden Daniels be the number 1 pick. And then finally and normally we get to that point where it's like, no, this guy is the number 1 pick. We don't have to keep talking about this. I know it's March, but we don't have to keep talking about this. In this situation, though, between those two, I mean, I don't think it's much of a question that Jaden Daniels should be 2. But you never know. I mean, one of these teams could fall in love with one of these different guys and be, or fall out of love with one of the other guys. But I'm not buying too much of the sizzle on that one. I'll stick to the same prediction we've had and assumption we've had that Mr. Jaden Daniels goes number 2, my friend.
Patriots, the locals, I respect a lot of them. I get tired of the same nonsense. I wish I was sitting at one of these 98.5s or WEEIs getting paid thousands upon thousands of dollars because they just talk the same nonsense every day. It's just spin, rinse, repeat, spin, rinse, repeat. It's the same garbage. And now, today again, we're getting Drake May, where a few days ago, maybe it's JJ McCarthy, or maybe we're going to trade down and make a trade with Minnesota, because I'm going to tell you right now, Minnesota didn't do what they did to stand pat. They're chomping at the bit. So do you want to get creative, get their 11th and 23rd pick and a first round next year? Do you want to hold out and say, well, we need a second or a third this year? Do you want to get really creative and say, hey, are you paying Justin Jefferson or not? Because if you're not and you want to move up, well, maybe we'll take the 2 first and Justin Jefferson, and we'll have to pay him. So I just, with less than a week to go, the nonsense and the bullshit, I'm calling bullshit here on all these jabberjaws, I've had enough.
I know, and it drums up. It just drums up interest, and they're trying to make storylines out of it. But I'm with you as far as the Vikings. I mean, they either have to get creative and aggressive, like you and I think that they probably will, or got to blow everything up completely, because the alternative is kind of just being in the middle and trying to piece things together on a year-to-year basis, which doesn't make a whole ton of sense, and then you lose all your value in Justin Jefferson if you finally get to a point where you need to dish him, but you don't. You get half of what you could get right now. So I'm with you. I'm sick of all of it. I wish we could move on and accept what's happening in some of those spots, and then maybe we're crazy and we're the crazy ones that would be okay with hearing what's going to happen at the 4, 5, 6, 7 picks, as opposed to having to hear the same, try and drum up interest and try and draw some speculation or controversy in these top 3 or picks or whatever. Because I am sick of it, and obviously you've got Marvin Harrison Jr. who's going to go up in the top 5 as well. So I mean that's a moot point as well. So I'm curious to see what the rest of the top 10 shakes out, and wish we could when I turn on my TV, I'm hearing more about that type of conversation, because those are where a lot of the real question marks lie right now.
And I'll add 2 more funny things. And I think this probably, I would say, I think it could happen. Brandon Ayuk on the move. He says in 6 days there'll be fireworks. Again, it's a perfect spot for the Patriots. They have like the 2nd or 3rd pick in the 2nd round. You could trade that to San Fran for Brandon Ayuk. But again, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have the weapons, what good is it to pay Brandon Ayuk, who I love, if you can't get him the ball? The Steelers are the favorite, by the way. The rich get richer to make that move. But here's the classic of all classics yesterday. I don't know if you went and took a look on Instagram to A.J. Brown's logo now, or his picture. It's a picture of Tom Brady. And what do I see yesterday but Tom Brady working out? So now the rumors back east are Tom Brady's coming back to the Patriots, and the Patriots are trading for A.J. Brown.
I'm sure you're a lot closer to that stuff as well. I did hear whatever Brady said about, he might be interested in a late season comeback, one of these, upcoming or something like that for a team that's in need. So that honestly wouldn't shock me. I mean, all of it encompassing coming together. I mean, Tom Brady's an insane person. So as a single man who doesn't have to worry about, his relationship anymore, it wouldn't be the craziest thing to see him come back at some point. But I won't buy that sizzle either. I'll say he's retired, and we can move on from that. But No, it's the season where you'll get any random insert any star player and they'll wipe clean their Instagram or do something like you're talking about, and then that gets the media fodder rocking and rolling. So I don't know. I won't hold my breath for that one, but you never know, man. If Brady is trying to gather the troops or any amount of troops, someone will follow along if he does.
No hockey to talk about, guys. The series start tomorrow. Kind of funny, last night in the NHL, the two late games, neither one wanted to win. Vegas playing the Ducks, and they were minus 400 almost at one point. A win, and it solidified a spot with Edmonton. And then you had the Kings that just needed a point, and there was going to be some jostling. Anyways, long story short, the Kings give up, 3 early goals in the third period to your Blackhawks, only for the coach to go ape shit, and the Kings eventually win. And Vegas taps out and loses, so they get to face the Stars in the first round and avoid Lord McDavid, of course, Mr. Oka. From the Oilers, David. Why am I babbling on his name
Connor
here?
McDavid.
Connor McDavid. OMG. I apologize there. So we start hockey tomorrow. I'll have the ECSI VIPs. We're sitting, I thought, in the catbird seat with Carolina and the Rangers from some pre-flop action there. And then we have the Stars and the Avs. Got some Stars action about 6-8 weeks ago. And we had the Avs pre-flop 5-1 to win the West, 10-1 to win the cup there. So we'll get into that. But I'm going to turn it over to you, Riley. Sacramento, New Orleans tonight. That's the 9:30 game. But of course, your Bulls travel to South Beach to Miami. 1.5 and a 206.5. That's where we are right now there, sir.
Yeah, and just looking at both of these games, I'm seeing a lot more public money on the Kings than either of these two situations. Without Zion Williamson, you've got teams that are the games apart in the standing. Two winning teams, obviously, and the Kings have been a fan favorite team. So kind of respecting that the Pelicans, in contrast to the Heat and Bulls, where you've got a losing team on the regular season in the Bulls in Miami for a team that, despite not having Jimmy Butler, is still, arguably in that same category as the Bulls there. And I believe they had a win record without Jimmy Butler. And so it doesn't shock me that the Heat are still favorites. It was, I kind of respected that the Pelicans remain favorites without Zion because you've got, like I said, you've got two winning teams, a big public team that people love in the Kings. And yet the Pelicans are still favored there. And I wouldn't look back at smaller sample size, like 15 games, but the Pelicans, I think, were 9-6 without Zion. So not like they're a dumpster fire without him. They still got talent. I think that could potentially, you need probably a good game from Brandon Ingram offensively here, where it kind of, not saying it opens things up as in, it clogs things up, but when he doesn't have Zion there, but, might be able to, use some of his mid-range scoring abilities a little bit more here tonight without Zion out there. So I guess I'm starting with the Kings and Pelicans. I'm a little more confident out of either of these two teams in this Pelicans team tonight. To say that's where I have some interest in. As far as the Bulls and Heat, obviously, being a Bulls fan here, it's an interesting spot because you have a revenge spot where the Bulls were not only lose to that Heat team that managed to get all the way to the finals, they had a lead with 2-3 minutes left in that game on the cusp of making it to the actual playoffs themselves there, and absolutely squandered it there. So I think they're going to be chomping and ready for this opportunity here. I put that one a little bit more of a toss-up. Obviously, that's a 1.5 spread here. You could argue they're both toss-ups, obviously. I feel a little bit better about saying that I think the Pelicans, I respect them staying as favorites here, whereas I think the Bulls and Heat number is pretty fair with way this Bulls team is playing right now. Kind of a team that, they looked obviously very, very solid against Atlanta the other night, but plenty of times this season where you say that, and then the next thing they're a win-loss team. They're essentially a 500 team here. So I'll have some love for the Bulls. I do. I like their chances, but I put that one as a true coin flip for me, the Bulls and Heat here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, respect both home teams. They were making on the broadcast the other night with the Pelicans in that fourth quarter run. Ingram stayed on the bench. I don't know if he's banged up, hurt, or was just sulking because he wasn't in the wasn't in the game. But they didn't play him for most of the fourth quarter there. And again, I guess Miami, I kind of initially was rooting for Miami for this regards because, yeah, they're going against the Celtics, but it doesn't matter. A healthy Jimmy Butler, a hero, they just have that mentality. They don't care that the Celtics have 20 plus more wins in them and not. It just that South Beach and the playoff Jimmy brings a fear of God, and they always play the Celtics tough. And it would be comical having a depleted Miami Heat team come in and force the Celtics to game 6 or 7 or beat the Celtics, because now they're talking the Celtics are like minus 220, 230 to win the East here. Giannis probably won't play the first series. You got no Jimmy Butler. You got Embiid hopping on one leg. I mean, what is left out here? I mean, no disrespect, but disrespect. Can you tell me what's going on here in the East, Riley?
No, I mean they're 14 games ahead of anyone else, and the 2th through 8 seed are like 4 games apart. So all of these teams are kind of in the same boat. I mean, you've got some fun. I mean, the maybe the biggest threat at this point is if Philly is completely healthy and Joel Embiid plays like an absolute madman for the next 3 to 4 weeks. That might, in my opinion, might be the toughest situation. And of course, the one team I think that fan base that would be screaming at us would be the Knicks, because they're obviously a very tough team and could throw a lot of different things at them. I think anyone outside of the Knicks fan base would agree that they just don't have quite enough firepower to beat the Celtics team. And so from as far as consistency standpoint and who I think is most best served to push the Celtics to 6-7 games, it probably would be the Knicks. But a team that I think could pull off kind of a shocker, if you will, upset would be a scorching hot Joel Embiid and the Sixers there. So, and that's no discredit to Cleveland, Orlando, and Indy. They're just teams that don't have a ton of experience there. And obviously some of those matchups are really close and going to be tough themselves and could go late series. So I think the numbers are fair. And really, unless they, and maybe they might not even meet the Sixers, because the Sixers could absolutely lose to the Knicks in the first round, or whoever they would have. I think it would be Milwaukee or Indy after that. So, no, I don't see anyone getting in their way. And like I said, I think a scorching hot Joel Embiid is the biggest threat to them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you have the 2 seed, obviously Philly with the 7 of the 76ers. Yet basically a pick'em series. I've seen some sharp money come in on Philly, even though the 76ers, the Knicks have the home court. They have probably one of the most up-and-coming players who's been around for a few years, don't get me wrong, but Brunson has just been on fire this second half of the year. I enjoy the organ playing of the Mecca, Spike Lee in the front row. I go back to the glory days when Pat Ewing and those guys were fighting, against Elijah Wan, against Jordan and those teams. So again, it's good to see New York back in the mix. And I think that will probably, of all the series in the East to start, that'll be the most watched, and the most watched that I will watch, probably even more than the Celtics.
I don't disagree with you. I've been a big, I've always, the last 2-3 years, I've been a big believer of this Magic team, and I love that matchup against the Cavs. But that's just me, obviously. As far as the most watched, you're absolutely right. It should be the most watched series by far. I definitely am not going to disagree with you there. If the Bucks can get healthy, I think that that'll draw some interest there. If that's a 6-7 game series and maybe the later games, we'll have some bigger viewers there. But I agree that Knicks series is going to be the most heavily watched. Whether it's the Knicks finally breaking through and getting through to the next round, or having a chance to break even further into the playoffs like they haven't in a long time, or the Knicks. I mean, a lot of people, despite the Knicks not having a ton of success, a lot of people still love to hate the Knicks and love watching them fail. So you're right. There's going to be so many viewers outside of that. And then as far as the interesting thing about the Bulls and Celtics, if that's what the matchup is there, not so much this season, but the past 2-3 years, Nikola Vucevic has been in kind of a tough matchup for the Celtics. So by no means am I, as a Bulls fan, trying to suggest that there's going to be any funny business going on. But if the Bulls and Celtics are matching up, I'll stand on the table and say the Bulls can get one game and maybe give another one a run for their money, and it's not going to be a total pushover series as much as there is a large gap there. And if you look at this season alone, it is not the case that I said. But before this season, this core of the Bulls against this, mostly the core of the Celtics here, the Bulls gave them a run for their money a handful of times here these last couple of years. So I'll give the Bulls, if they make it, one game as opposed to a sweep there, my friend.
Thursday mornings, usually around 10:30, we always have Julian Edlow from DraftKings on, and I call this an Edlow special. When they're big favorites in the series, Julian and DraftKings offer this. So anyone watching and listening, and you have DraftKings available in your state, Julian will go to the series, and then the DraftKings will offer to win game one and win the series. So usually it's the home team, it's the big favorite. So again, he will take the Celtics. Actually, the Celtics, too big of a price right there. We don't know who they're playing, but he would take, for instance, like a Denver against LA. He'll take them to win game one and win the series. So again, you can try to get creative. If you think the Celtics are going to win the East, go lay the 220, 225 and just wait, and you'll have perfect opportunities to hedge, double down, or whatever as the series go. Just, you don't have to bet every game. You can wait till you win the first two games, and then you can take that half swing on the Bulls plus, or the Heat plus the 5, 6, or 7. Maybe they steal a game, maybe they lose, but they cover. So there's a lot of ways, Riley, as the series progresses, to get creative.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's obviously still some things to watch. I mean, the Bucks are underdogs, even though they've got the home court advantage. Obviously, tells you that whether or not he plays, or if he plays, he's not going to be 100% as far as Giannis and even Lillard banged up a little bit. So I'm interested to see how that one shakes out. I'm really disappointed because despite all of their flaws, I was curious to see what this team healthy would have looked like, even with all their flaws. The Bucks there going through this season with Lillard and Giannis there. So I'm excited for it. There should be some good games here in this first round or so. Obviously, probably a couple of ugly ones, but should be some good series. I'm excited. I don't think there's going to be too many quick series other than maybe the 1 versus 8 situations here tomorrow and the next week or two here.
Last question, NBA for you. Let's just say, for instance, Giannis does not play, and I don't know, Indy just mops him up in 5 or 6, whatever it is. Does Doc come back next year?
Ooh, good question. Does he come back next year? I mean, he didn't really turn the tide that much. I mean, they went 3 and obviously Giannis was banged up a little bit, but went 3-7 in the last 10 games. That's a good question. I would say if they had someone lined up that they feel really good about, then I think they move on. But I'll say they bring him back for another year and see how things go with some continuity over the summer. So I'll say yes, he comes back, even if they get smoked. Unless if Giannis looks healthy and Lillard looks healthy and they still get smoked, which obviously doesn't seem likely that they're that healthy, then I'll say no. But I don't think they're going to look that healthy.
No, I agree. I didn't mind them trying it with Doc. It wasn't the answer, obviously. And you had that stretch where you were double-digit favorites in 4 games and you lost all 4 games. It just hasn't been – there hasn't been continuity. And it's almost, again, when Giannis says out, you're out. And the inmates running the asylum, as we like to say there. I thought it would be interesting with Lillard over there. They have some pieces. But, again, the way the Celtics are structured – it's been the perfect storm with the injuries with Milwaukee, the injuries with Embiid. Now you look at Butler out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping the youth, whether it's Orlando, whether it's a Cleveland team, or even the Pacers. Halliburton had a great run. They're fun to watch. They don't play any defense, roll the ball out. The first one to 135, 140 wins the game. I mean, it's fun to watch. But again, if the Celtics get to a 7th game, I'll say in any of these series, shame on them.
I agree. I'll say they get to Game 6 one time. I'll say they get to Game 6 once out of all whatever their series situation that unfolds for them.
I agree. Any more thoughts on the NBA? Anything that you liked, you lean to? Anything grabbed your eye?
Let's see. As far as the weekend is concerned, I might be interested in this. Maybe not tomorrow necessarily, but the Suns for the series potentially. I mean, not a lot of respect there for the Wolves and some of the prices there, despite how good they've been all season long. So I've been Kevin Durant turns it up to a little higher level once the playoffs come around. So I'm believing in the Suns a little bit there. Maybe the Lakers push the Nuggets to 6 games or so. I could see that happening, but the Nuggets have obviously been turning it up a little bit there. And then I know the Mavericks. Obviously, you've been talking about the Mavericks plenty there. I'm really interested in that series. I would have been a believer in both those teams had they had different matchups as opposed to being matchup against themselves. So we'll see what happens there. But I'll go with you, and I think the Mavericks got to be on a little bit of a mission. I mean, you could argue the same with the Clippers, but Kawhi has obviously proven himself as an NBA great already. Paul George probably should have some to prove, but I'll go with the Mavericks along with you, my friend.
No, I agree. I like where your eyes are on all those accounts. As we get going next week with our closing bell, we'll have a lot more thoughts on the NBA, especially after these 2 games end tonight, where whether it's Sacramento or New Orleans, will be traveling on. And then, of course, Chicago, Miami, one of them get to travel to Boston, I think, for Sunday. Correct, Bradley?
Yes, these games will be Sunday, and then obviously the Thunder are the one team we haven't talked about at all, which we don't need to spend any time more. We've talked about in the past, but could be one of these 2 teams could give. Obviously you would need a healthy Zion, but one of these 2 teams could give the Thunder a little bit of a run for money, as much as we like the Thunder here.
I agree. Right now, top of the 9th, Cubs 8, Miami 1. Puck again, not the answer there, and anyone sweating they're amazing. The under-over on this game was 9.5, and there was a lot of people on the over on social media. So they're sweating, trying to get one run across for that over. Decent slate tonight. So I will turn it over to you. You can pick and choose anything that grabs your eye or anything, and we'll go from there.
Well, I don't have to skip around this time because it's actually one of the next ones up on the slate, my friend. My White Sox, who I'm not saying so pridefully as my White Sox right now, but the White Sox in Philly tonight, a home team Philly, a 11-8 up against this 3-15 White Sox team. Got a split of a double here the other day against Kansas City. Only minus 178 for this Phillies team here. Is it fair to say that this is one of the stinky stenches of the night here in the MLB, my friend, for this Phillies team?
Well, the one bright spot I can honestly say from my point of view, and a lot of people are saying, has been this kid Crochet. I've watched his starts. I like him. I like his demeanor. I like everything about him. And I actually, his last start, turned it on just to watch him. I have the MLB TV. So I specifically, there was a bunch of games going on. No, I wanted to watch it. It was that cold night. Actually, it was 2 starts ago. The cold night at home against the Braves, I think it was. And he pitched great. And so I think it's all predicated on him. And here's the funny is the overnight under-over was 8.5. The current under-over is 7.5 juice under. So hats off to Crochet. If you're ever going to win one in this series, it's tonight, my friend.
No, I know, and I was curious if you thought it was stinky. You got Turnbull, who's been good so far, just come over from Detroit, though, so a handful of White Sox players have seen him before here. So, no, I'm with you. Crochet is one of the lone bright spot, or maybe the only bright spot so far for this White Sox season. Had some injuries. He was a prospect a few years ago, was in bullpen for some of their playoff runs, 1 or 2 of them that they had, obviously. And so, and now in a starting role, and he looks like he's ready for it. So I'm a little faith in the White Sox, at least with Crochet on the mound tonight there. So moving on, Angels and Reds, same time there. You got Anderson and Lodolo. Angels 9-10, Reds 9-9. Lodolo, I believe this is his. Let's see here. Not his first start, but his second start here. Pitched against my White Sox. That's right. 5 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk, 10 Ks. Take that for what you will. Obviously against this White Sox offense that we've seen so far, but against Tyler Anderson there, who's coming off of some rough season last year in Anaheim. So solid so far. No runs allowed first 2 outings, 3 earned runs last time out against your Red Sox, 4 in the third, 4 hits. 4 hits allowed in each of these 3 starts here. Are we buying the Tyler Anderson revival here in his second season in Anaheim, or are we looking for some regression out of this guy here after 3 decent starts here?
I think you're going to get some regression from both. I know it's a Friday night. It's in Cincinnati. It's a 9.5. I had a 120. Reds minus 125 to open. It's now up to 134. I'm going to go on record here. It's 4:44 here on Friday. It's almost happy hour. I like the dog here on the Angels, but I'm going to play it a little different way. I'm going to take their team total over the 4.5. I'm going to get that at plus money tonight. I think there'll be some regression in both sides. I think this could be an honest first 1 to 5 wins. Anderson, as you said, has pitched great. Now, this is Lodolo's second start. But again, I think it's easier for me to say the Angels get to 5 versus taking them plus the 123, maybe a little pizza and beer on the Angel as well to win this game. But for some reason, my eyes are on the Angels tonight, Riley.
I like it, and I'll add one of my home run props, and not a groundbreaking one by any means, but I'll go with the Mike Trout home run tonight, my friend. 330. I don't think this Angels lineup has really seen Lodolo. You could say that both ways. I don't think the Reds, aside from maybe one guy, has really seen Anderson too much. But I'll go with a Trout homer. He's got, what has he got so far? 8 home runs. One of the league leaders right now. Has been kind of going back and forth. Didn't have one, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Had a couple in that series against Tampa. So I'll go with Trout. Third and 5 games homer for Trout here on the road.
And he's got 5 stolen bases. So if you want to sprinkle a little beer and pizza on a stolen base, I'm going to shock the world, Riley. If you got the numbers in front of you, I'm going Anthony Rendon homer.
Oh, waking up. 450. That's a decent statement right there. I like that. 450 for Rendon at the top of the order. No homers on the season yet. 450 with no homers. I like that. I like those odds, my friend. I can get behind that one as well. Maybe we get both of them there in Cincinnati. You know what? The one I was gonna throw out a random White Sox prop, and so I wanted to, before I leave, not a home run prop because they don't hit the ball out of the park, and I'm still struggling to even say it. He's 5th in the lineup tonight. He has struggled so far this year. However, he's got a 3-game hit streak finally. 4 for 7 lifetime against Turnbull. Andrew Benintendi, give me 2 bases, 2 total bases, or over 1.5 total bases, plus 1, was it 155, I think. So either an extra base hit or a couple of hits. He had like I said, 3-game hit streak with a multi-hit game in there. He's been ugly at the plate up until this little stretch here, and he got a good matchup for him. So that might be my first and only for a while pro White Sox prop that I'll give out here for some time, I would have to imagine.
Benny and the Jets. How's that?
Yeah, that's right. All right. Now over to your neck of the woods. Not playing in your neck of the woods, but Red Sox Pirates. 10-10 Red Sox with Bayo on the mound against Priester for the Pirates. 11-8. Priester's first start of the season here. Quinn Priester there for the Pirates. Has not pitched since last year. And obviously Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox. 4 decent starts, I would say. Maybe one a little shaky, but for the most part has not been too bad. I think you guys are probably hoping to see a little bit more from him going forward. Not sure what your thoughts are on that one, but you've got a Pirates team minus 120 at home here. Or I'm sorry, it looked like it was minus 120, kind of coming down a little bit. I'm seeing a lot of different numbers of Amina. I'm seeing some close to 120. I'm seeing a couple that are around 112, 115. Any love for the Red Sox on the road here against Priester's season debut?
You know, a lot of respect to Pittsburgh here. The Sox have done well when they played against the NL in their history. Bello has pitched a lot better on the road than he has at home. The problem is they're the walking wounded. I think no Devers, no O'Neill. I have no idea. I mean, this is a Woo Sox times 10 lineup. They just, got off to a real good start, and they did not play well at home. I think they're amongst the top in errors. It's funny. I saw a stat. I think the Red Sox are like 8-1 when they don't commit an error, and they're like 2-8 when they do commit an error. So Bello's going to have the ball put into play, which means you're going to make some plays. Offensively challenged. I would lean Red Sox away from Fenway. No pressure of the boos from the crowd. The problem is I don't know where they're going to get their offense. Maybe Cassis, maybe a few of the others step to the plate. But I lean Red Sox and Bellow.
I think I'm with you. I mean, the number there with all the injuries that they have against a decent, at least to this point, a decent Pirates team. Either you're going to get a great Bellow start or you're going to get a rough Priester start, in the way I see it, I guess, or maybe something in the middle a little bit. But I'm with you. I'd lean Red Sox with you as well on that one, so I like that. You've got Houston on the road in Washington. Houston 6-14, playing ugly right now. Verlander making a season debut, giving them a minus 140, 145 price, it looks like here. Against Mackenzie Gore, who was in the past was I don't think we can call him a prospect anymore. He's been in the league for a few years now. But that is one guy that they're obviously hoping to make a big jump. Mackenzie Gore. He's been decent so far. 3 earned runs, 2 earned runs, and last time out, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks. Are we buying the Astros waking up with Verlander here, or I don't know, this price of minus 145 against a Washington team who's above expectations so far, but still obviously not a good team here. But you got Mackenzie Gore on the mound. What do you make of this one in Washington?
Again, Houston struggling at home. If I'm correct, Verlander's first start this year, I think it was pushed back a couple days. A pesky Washington team, an under-over 8.5 that had dropped to 8. An overnight number of Houston minus 165, now minus 139. Here's what I would say. If you're betting Houston because of Verlander, I'd do the first 5 minus the hook, get a little plus money or even money there. Hope to have the lead after 5. Wait for this game. Try to get your sea legs, again, away from home. Sometimes teams are glad to get the pressure off. Don't have to worry about who am I getting tickets for, who's in the stands. And they got their, I don't want to say their ace because Verlander is not supposed to be their ace, but you got the veteran there maybe to jumpstart a good road win and a good road trip. So if you want the Astros tonight, first 5 minus the hook.
Right, and we saw at the end of the season, you and I talked about it a lot, the I don't know the right word. It could have just been with age, with how deep into the season they were, but the wheels starting to fall off, but the regression of his talents a little bit at the end of the season last year, but he grinded through it. And so if you're considering this an important start, it wouldn't shock me if he grinded through this one and gave him a good outing here tonight. But curious to see how he looks. Maybe they only let him go 5 innings and give him the yank, and it's 80 pitches. I'm assuming that's probably what they're going to do. So, yeah, I think anything past 5 innings could be a little murky, at least on their pitching staff there is concerned. But, we could also be in for some Mackenzie Gore regression there, so one way or another. So, interesting game there. Obviously, the Astros got to get themselves going. Still a lot of talent there, and we'll see how that one goes. But that one's an interesting one to crack down. Tampa and the Yanks in New York. Alexander on the mound for Tampa to start things off. And Schmidt on the mound for the Yankees there. 174 price for the Yankees, minus 174. They obviously had been playing good ball. Lose 2 out of 3 in Toronto coming into this one. Offense, still not bad. 4 runs in a loss, and then a 6-4 win against Toronto there. Tampa Bay's been kind of just teetering on win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. Win 2-1 the other day. Maybe yesterday at home against Anaheim, now on the road. I haven't had a chance to watch this either of these pitchers too much this year, if I'm being too honest with you. So are we respecting this price here with the Yankees at home, or is that just the Yankees on a Friday night with the way they're playing?
I was doing a show with Andrew McInnis from Wager Talk yesterday, and he had the team total of the Rays over. Classic Rays score 2 in the first and they don't score the rest of the game. They win 2-1. Yankees glad to be back home. I see a lefty. It's Friday night in the Bronx. Again, I'm not going to spend that minus 169. It's 180 right now on DraftKings. I'm not going to lay the run line as well there because you're only guaranteed the 24 outs. So how do I play this? I would take a look at the Yankees to get to 5 today, get the plus money there with the over 4.5. I would take a look at the Yankees minus the hook first 5 to get to a close to even money, maybe a plus 5 cents there. Lefty on mine, lefty starting the game. So all rise. I'll take a shot with the Judge homer.
I can get behind that. I was gonna switch it up to the other side. Just not a perfect matchup, but he's had decent success against them with the bomb. A guy that I mentioned earlier in the week, I think that was this week, and didn't deliver for me, but he's got a 4-game hit streak with a couple multi-hit games. I'm going back to Isaac Paredes for Tampa here. 5 homers on the season. Like I said, decent success against Schmidt. Small sample size, but 5-1 plus 500 odds for Paredes home run. So that'll be my. I'm with you on, the Yankees can score some runs here, Judge homer, but I'll go Paredes to sneak one in, a solo shot or a 2-run shot here today.
And I'll double down with you. I'll go on that side. I saw Randy's playing tonight. What's Randy's odds to go yard in the Bronx?
A Rosarina, I'm with you. What shied me away, he's 1-11 lifetime against Clark Schmidt here. So obviously, and maybe I dive too deep into those lifetime numbers, but I had it a second ago. He's 550 plus 550, so better odds or longer odds there for Randy than Paredes there. So, but you never count Randy out there. He could get going.
No, I agree. In the big stage, big lights Friday night. So we'll take a shot. Day off. Maybe he's a little fresh and wants to, take one for yard for the ECSI crew.
Yes, sir. All righty. Cleveland hosting the A's. You like to call him Sticks McKenzie. Has not been good so far this season against Boyle on the mound for the A's. A's obviously overachieving to this point. The 8-11 still overachieving for their standards. Joe Boyle for the A's here. 3 starts last year, 3 starts so far this year. Ugly one against your Red Sox to open the season. Since then, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run against the Nationals. So steadied a little bit after that. And you've got McKenzie, who was sandwiched 1 good start against my White Sox in between 2 ugly ones there. So are we getting good sticks tonight, or are we getting some ugly sticks, McKenzie, in Cleveland against this A's team?
This Cleveland team has been playing lights out. No Tito, no problem. J-Ram and the rest of the crew, hats off to you. It was an 8.5 down to an 8 now. Listen, it's very simple. If you get the good sticks, he doesn't go on the IL. If Oakland lights him up, he's on the IL. This guy is on life support right now. I'm not going to lay the 157. I'm not going to get cute either. I would play the side of he's hurt. I would take a shot at the team total of Oakland over the 3.5 tonight. I'd take a look at them plus 143 or 150 to win the game outright. And if you really want to get cute, take a look at them in the first 5 as well. I'm playing on the side Sticks is hurt.
Yeah, I think you could argue this is a stinky one with, who Joe Boyle on the mound, 5.68 ERA through this early part, and I know they are 8-11, a little overachieving. I would imagine the rest of the world still isn't believing that this A's team is going to amount to anything. And you've got, like you said, a red hot Cleveland team. I think you could argue this is a stinky line here tonight. So. No, I think the A's are alive to whether it's runs or winning this game through 5 innings or the full game. I think they're alive in some senses there. So I can get behind it. I mean, you've got some a carrot of plus money minus run line if you're loving the Guardians. You've got minus 115 if you're buying the hook in the first 5. You know what I mean, minus a half there. Minus 115. So there's plenty of ways to dive into this one hard on a Friday night with this Cleveland team if you're cannonballing into it. So I'm with you. I might be interested in this A's team tonight.
I like it. Like I says, listen, if Sticks mows him down like he did against the White Sox, Bravo, bravo. But I just think he's hurt. I think there's an IL calling for him, just like most pitchers in the major leagues right now. And Oakland, Friday night, why not? This is Fade the Public Friday for a reason. So we're on the A train tonight.
All righty. Interesting one. This one is the Apple TV Plus special for this Friday night. Texas and Atlanta in Atlanta. Atlanta 12-5, starting to put some together here. Nice series. On the road in Houston, 4 in a row altogether, including the series before that. Texas, decent series, 3 out of 4 against Detroit offense. Wakes up these last 2 days at least. We've got still a big line here for the Braves at home, minus about 200, 190 to 200 there. And you've got Chris Sale on the mound, who I know you're the biggest fan of, my friend, up against Andrew Heaney. Is this line more respect to Chris Sale or a lack of respect here for Andrew Heaney?
This Texas team's lineup, you're going to hear me say this a lot this year. They're long and strong, and what they're slowly doing is they're going to be bringing back some more and more pitching. In comes Leiter. Welcome to the bigs. Yesterday, Max is now throwing. Look, they thought Max June or July. This could be by Memorial Day. And then, August, September, in comes DeGrom. So don't sleep. Anyone here want to add a little something in the American League? Add some Rangers to your portfolio. Have them, take a look at the division, obviously the AL, and then sprinkle a little beer and pizza for back-to-back World Series champs there. But this game, Haney, I'm not backing Sale. I'm telling you guys, I'm not backing Sale. What I am backing is the Atlanta offense. I see a lefty in Andrew Heaney, who I respect. I had him in diapers when he was an Angel. I'm just saying, I think the tomahawk chop will be chopping. It's Apple TV, big stage tonight. I like the Braves to get to 6 or better. Yes, we need a touchdown, but you can get it around plus 115 for the Braves to get to 6 or better. And with the lefty on the mound, I got to take my shot with Acuna and Olsen homers tonight.
Oh, I like it. And no, I'm with you. You got a 9.5 total on this one. So it definitely kind of suggests there's going to be some runs. I do think you could, obviously a big if he stays healthy, you could get some flashes of some old Chris Sale there. But, not anything to expect on a nightly basis that he's going to be anywhere near his old self there. But, no, I'm with you. Andrew Heaney has been a punching bag in the past. So I could absolutely get behind him getting roughed up a bit there. Baltimore, Kansas City, interesting matchup. 12-6 Baltimore in 12-7 Kansas City. Marsh on the mound versus Dean Kramer. Kramer has not been quite great this season so far. 4.96 ERA, throws 3 starts so far. He has a rough one in his last one. A good one sandwiched in between. Okay start first one, and last time out 4 innings, 10 hits. 8 runs allowed, 6 of them earned, a couple bombs at home against Milwaukee. A guy that Baltimore is obviously hoping that he can be a little steadier than what we've seen here this year so far, and even a little steadier than what we saw from him last year. Need him to be a little bit better. Up against Alec Marsh, nothing crazy, nothing special, kind of ho-hum, 4 or 5 innings, trying to give you a stand three runs or so. Not a huge sample size for him here. So are we respecting this Baltimore as a favorite on the road, whether that's their offense or Dean Kramer in tonight's game?
Kind of comical. Overnight number of 135 now down to 125. This Kansas City team that's been an offensive juggernaut, and I didn't see George Brett, Steve Balboni, and a few of the other Royals of the past, I'm looking to say Brett Saberhagen, Gubazar, and all those good guys. But respected offensively. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr.'s just had a phenomenal start. The next coming to the Acuñas and some of the other high-stakes fantasy players here. I like runs in this one. It's a flat 9. I think the first 1 to 5 probably wins this game. So, again, both teams, I kind of respect the Baltimore guaranteed 27 outs here on the road, but I wouldn't be shocked if I saw some crooked numbers on the Royals side as well. So I like a high scoring game, and I lean, I'm not going to lay the 125 on Baltimore, but I do think if I had to play that side, I'd take a look at them to score 5 or better and get the plus money there.
Yeah, I like it. Like you said, the Royals could put up some runs. They did cool off these last few days a little bit. 2 or less in 3 of their last 4 there. So they are cooling down just a little bit there. But no, you're right. There's obviously Bobby Witt we talked about earlier is an absolute stud. And credit to Salvador Perez. Salvi's still hanging out. He's only 33. I honestly would have guessed he was older than that. But he's still putting up good numbers, man. I mean, he's like one of these other, a lot of these guys that we see into their 30s still putting up solid numbers. Go through some lulls with their current teams, and then they come back around, and he's a huge part of their success when they build it back up. So, as much as that's a division rival of the White Sox, love Salvi Perez, and hope he can get stringing along there. Sticking in that AL Central, Detroit, Minnesota. Minnesota, Flaherty on the mound for the Tigers. Joe Ryan on the mound for the Twins. Twins 6-11, Tigers 10-9. Tigers cool off a little bit after a little hot stretch there. Twins obviously have not been quite what we expected them to be. However, you got Joe Ryan on the mound with a flat 7 on the game total. Is this a lot of respect here for Joe Ryan, or are you seeing something else on top of that as well?
I think it was 2 Sundays ago. We in our action parlay we gave out blackjack Flaherty, and I don't think he got out of the second. Man, he got blackjacked. And then Joe Ryan is the stud. I'm gonna just say this: Minnesota missing 3 big pieces with Correa, with Kepler, and with Royce Lewis. Their offense is no bueno. I found out the hard way this week. First 1-4 wins this game. I expect Minnesota to bounce back at home. I think Ryan keeps them in the game. Minnesota's team total 3.5 over -25 cents. I don't even know if they can get to 4, even with Flaherty there. I like Minnesota here. If I would have played the game, I'd play them first 5. The problem is I don't like to lay the juice. So, minus the hook, and you got to hope that they score a run or 2. And if you can't do it against blackjack, I don't know who you're going to do it against. But I think Minnesota wins this game, Riley.
I think so. And you got so you got I assume roughed up Flaherty against the A's. 9 hits, 6 runs a little over a week ago. Faced against this Twins team on Sunday, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, a homer. So maybe the second time around, this Twins offense can beat them up a little bit and get themselves going potentially here. So I'm with you. I felt like a decent amount of respect there, especially with Joe Ryan on the mound there. So let's see. Switching back over. What is this next game? Milwaukee, St. Louis. Nice early season series in this tightly contested NL Central series here. You got Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Brewers and Gibson on the mound for the Cardinals there. This one's the 7:15 my time. You've got Kyle Gibson here for the Cardinals. Has not quite been what they were hoping for yet. He has not been very good so far. Okay, first start against San Diego, and then 7 earned runs and 4 earned runs these last 2 times out. Milwaukee actually the favorite here in St. Louis. Are you respecting Peralta here, or is this still some continued ugliness from Kyle Gibson as we get at things?
We had Peralta his last start, lights out. Again, I'm not going to go back to the Friday nights. I like the Cards in this spot. Again, look at how I can get there. I think you could get cute and take their team total over 3.5 plus 105 to get to 4 or better, but it's a flat 7. They'd say it's going to be a pitcher's duel. No disrespect for Peralta. I hate to bite the hand that fed us in his last start, but if I had to play the game, I slight lean the Cards tonight.
I might be with you. I'm trying to look it up. I had one. Obviously, the Cardinals need their big hitters to start hitting some bombs. Goldie and Arenado haven't quite been hitting the ball out of the park by any means here. They've each got 1 homer on the season. Arenado at least hitting at the plate quite a bit better than Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt has been ugly so far. But I'll go Arenado homer. Like I said, only 1 home run, but he's got a like a 7-game hit streak or something like that with some multi-hit games. He's actually kind of crushing the ball here, or average-wise. OPP really solid here in April. So I'll go Arenado to get over that hump and get to home run number 2, 5-1, plus 500.
Well, if you got Arenado, I got to come back. I got to take Goldie. What's Goldie?
Goldie 750. Not a ton of respect for him to get out of this slump that he's in tonight at home against a division rival.
Woo!
Man,
How about Albert? How
in the
about Albert
pool hole,
Pujols then?
Yeah, Goldie is hitting 154 here in the month of April. 8 for 52. Not good. Not good, Bob. And actually, his only home run was on opening day. So hasn't had a home run since March 28th. It's getting close to a month here. So things are ugly for Goldie, but a 750 payout if you can get there.
He's not literally hitting his weight at $1.52. That's sad.
He does have decent success against Peralta to defend you and give you some hope there. 8 for 24 with a couple of bombs there against Peralta. So not a bad matchup for him there. All right, only a few more games left here. Seattle and Colorado, Hancock and Hudson. This Colorado team, obviously 4-15, has been pretty ugly. However, this and Mariners obviously 9-10, kind of treading water have not been too impressive, but did have a great series at home against Cincinnati here. Offense got going, pitching got going against Cincinnati there, a 3-game sweep. Now in Colorado, who are on a bit of a losing streak themselves, coming back home. I always say the home team rocks. Are we giving some respect to this home team rocks? Last year it wasn't quite as profitable as previous years, but obviously, despite how bad they've been, this Rockies team at times can win you some money when they're in their home building.
Kind of scary in Colorado, and the Colorado's team total's only at 4.5, just over minus 25 cents. Seattle only at 5.5, even money, a flat 10.5 tonight. The Seattle offense again anemic. J-Rod anemic. You would expect Seattle here to get fat and start cooking in Colorado. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, even though I don't trust Hudson either. If you had to pick a side, I'd take a chance tonight that their offense gets cranked up. You're giving me even money. I'd take a shot for them to get to 6 or better tonight, Riley.
I'm with you, and we don't have that big fat over/under number that makes you think we could be in for a 9-8 type of game. Although you never know, but. The crazy thing is that Rockies have only played 6 games at home. They're 2-11 on the road, which has been their MO the last few years. 2-4 home, so a nice series here, and they could be right around 500 at home, like they've been in the past years. So I'm interested to see it, but the way this Mariners offense kind of got going the other day, you could absolutely see them rolling a bit here in Colorado this weekend. So let's see, Toronto, San Diego, Rodriguez, and Wald. 2 teams, 10-9, 11-10. In a lot of ways, similar MOs for these 2 teams. Tons of talent, but can't quite really put it all together and have their own, weaknesses that hold them down. Obviously here. So, any love for you got an 8.5 total, kind of a ho hum 4 to 5 type game is what they're telling you it's going to be, in my opinion here. San Diego had a nice little stretch of offense, lose 1-0 the other day in Milwaukee. But get the win there. Any love for the San Diego offense waking up a little bit here?
I woke up this morning and this number stuck out like a sore thumb. Now I could get, hit over the head here. It's an 8.5 under over. The Padres are at home. Their team totals 3.5, juiced over minus 145. But this is what stuck out to me. A Toronto team, like a lot of teams we've discussed tonight, their offense, it just can't get any consistency. Their team total is 4.5. It wasn't 3.5. It's 4.5, juiced under minus 135. Here's some late night action. Everyone watching and listening. I like the Jays to get to 5 or more tonight, and I can get that at plus 115, Riley.
I'm not against you. I was kind of talking up the Padres those last few days, but Toronto a series win against Colorado at home, series win against the Yankees this week here with some decent offense as well. So kind of a pitching matchup that I think most people are unaware of there. So could definitely be exploited there. Rodriguez, I think, second career start for the Jays. Not bad at all his first time out there. Didn't get too deep into the game. Maybe he goes 5-6 innings tonight. So we'll see there. But, I would have respected 130, 140 number at home for the Padres if I was really feeling confident about the Padres there, my friend. So I can get behind it.
And I'm going to go Bo knows. Bo goes deep tonight. What do we got for a Bo Bichette dong?
Give me 1 second. That might take, let's see, Bo Bichette in San Diego. is going to be I don't see him on my list here. They're not giving you the option. It's oh no, I'm sorry. I looked right past it. 6-1 plus 600. Plus 600 for Bo.
I'm going. What's Vladdy?
Vlad 380 plus 380.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis plus 360. I believe that's the shortest one there. Machado 400. Let's see. Springer 550. Turner 500. So I can get behind Bo though. 6-1. I can get behind it.
Yeah, well, they're saying Bo or Vladdy's the chalk on Toronto. So I just think there's something up with that number. That one stuck out to me all day. The Jays wake up as they go cross country, and they get to 5 or better tonight, and you can get it at plus 115. Again, Bo 6-1, or you can take the chalk, I should say, Vladdy at plus 380 there. Someone's going yard for the Jays tonight.
All righty. Mets in LA for the Dodgers. Dodgers big favorite, along with Atlanta. I think the other bigger favorite of the evening. Dodgers have Yamamoto on the mound against Sean Manaea there. Manaea in the past had some decent success throughout his career. A couple good starts so far early on in the season. Roughed up pretty bad at home against Kansas City last time. 9 hits, 8 runs allowed. And you got Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers. Not so great start against San Diego in Korea to start the season. Only 1 inning there. Bounce back, though, with 2 really solid starts, 5 innings against the Cardinals and Cubs, no runs. And then ran into the Padres again, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. So kind of just a little ugliness against the Padres. And again, outside of the Padres has been great. 12-9 Dodgers, though, obviously not quite as successful as we would expected so far this season. Any way this Mets team pulls up any upset, or are we just giving a lot of respect here to Yamamoto tonight?
Hats off to the Mets, because this was a team that was dead and buried. I'm surprised Frank didn't have a heart attack. They bounced back nicely, playing better ball. And here's a Dodger team that we all anointed as the next coming to, their top 3 was the greatest since I can't even remember, when you go Betts, Ohtani, Freeman. I think I heard they've lost 2 out of the last 3 series. They got shut out last game to the Nats 2-0. I like some runs scored here. I believe it or not, I think the Mets can get to 4. You can get that at plus 105. You can take the Dodgers to get to 5 at even money. I see Manaea a lefty, so what do I got to say? I got to say Betts with a homer tonight, maybe even a leadoff homer to try to jumpstart this team. If you like the Dodger side, play them in the first 5 minus the hook. But I think it's going to be a fun series. I don't have the scorecard in front of me. My gut would say that Mets and Dodgers is probably the ESPN game Sunday night as well. That would be just a gut guess.
I can double check. Betts 360 for a homer. No, it is Rangers Braves this Sunday night.
Okay, so they went with Atlanta. Okay, that'll be fun.
Yep, Rangers Braves on Sunday there. And then last one up, Diamondbacks and the Giants, the late Apple TV Plus special here. You've got a very good pitching matchup. Jordan Montgomery, at least by name right now. Blake Snell on the mound for the Giants has not been great so far. 3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs first time out. 4 innings, 6 hits, 7 runs last time out. We were waiting for some regression kind of all season long last year, and so far it's come in the first 2 games of this tenure with San Francisco. Montgomery on the mound for his first start with this Diamondbacks team here. Giants minus 130 favorite. Both these teams 9-11, trying to get going here, obviously. Are we respecting either of these pitchers? Are you respecting the favorite spot here for the Giants? 7.5 on the total. Are we getting some good starts from both these guys tonight?
Arizona 3.5 juiced under minus 120. San Fran 3.5 juiced over minus 20 with the 7.5. Third start, correct for Snell?
Yes, third start. Yep.
This is the one you usually can get them stretched out. Jordan, they're just going to want to give him probably 60, 70 pitches. I like San Fran in a bounce back spot here. I'm going to really not lay the lumber. So, again, if you wanted a first 5 minus the hook, I do like San Fran bats to wake up. Maybe I'd lay the 20 cents for them to get to 4. They've obviously seen Jordan Montgomery. He was pitching with the Cardinals last year, so they're familiar with him as well. But I'd lean San Fran in this game. How you want to get in, minus the hook first 5, maybe for them to get to 4, minus 20 cents, Riley.
I can get behind it, my friend. That about does it for tonight's baseball slate. Nice rundown of all those games. Aside from NBA, that is the show in town tonight. Is the MLB big full slate there? Some good matchups as well. So, anything else as far as action tonight or this weekend, my friend? Before we get on out of here.
No, I'm a little mad at myself. I did the show on Wednesday with Brady Kannon. Tea time wagers, and again, a week after a major, I lay low, but something caught my eye, Riley. I thought Patrick Cantlay was flying under the radar at the Masters, and he's had very good success here at the RBC. Made a nice run. I know he's not the leader. I know Collins played well. I know Oberg is there, Hoag's up there, but keep an eye on Cantlay. I don't know if you can pull up the DraftKings odds as we speak. Maybe give us some numbers on some golfers where they stand right now on the DraftKings for the win.
Yes, Morikawa, who last I saw, let me double check the leaderboard as well. Morikawa is way up there. I believe he's the leader in odds right now, as tied for the lead there, plus 400. You got Ludwig in his encore performance after that Masters, one back of the lead. He is plus 500. Scotty 550. But we talked, obviously, would not be shocked if he left Saturday and Sunday if he was in contention, if his wife gives him the call in this one as opposed to last week. You got Mr. JT Poston, who's playing really well, kind of starting to make a name for himself in this, later fields with, all the live guys gone. He's 8-1. Straka, who I'm a fan of, he's 850 and actually tied for the lead. Fan of in general. This one I'm not saying necessarily, but then Cantlay 9-1, just behind that, inside the top sixth in odds there.
So again, late to the party, but again, take a look at Cantlay, 9-1 right now. Get yourself some action for the weekend there. Maybe a top 5, top 10 pick as well. I mean, there's a lot of great names up there. Do I expect Scotty to win this? I don't. I think he had a great weekend. Obviously, the major means the most. He's still going to have his first child on the brain as well. Morikawa obviously found something last week. I would have no problem. We had Morikawa last week pre-flop at plus 5,000. We had Ludwig pre-flop plus 3,000. Again, I'm taking nothing away from those golfers. I just saw something in Cantlay that grabbed my eye there. And again, he's had real good success there. So just keep an eye on Cantlay. Top 5, top 10. And again, grab him at 9-1 for some pizza and beer money for the weekend, Riley.
I like it, and the only one I'll throw in there, it's a longer shot right now. 4 off the lead, done for the day. Tom Kim, 66 on Sunday at the Masters, 7 under, 69, 66 for his 2 days there. So 4 off the lead, I'll throw that, and he's like 55-1 right now. So I'll throw that as a little bit of a it doesn't seem like a crazy long shot, but as far as the odds are saying, a little bit more of a long shot at this point.
And that was Brady Kannon pre-flop at 60-1 on Tom Kim. So hats off to Brady there. And let me see who's knocking on our door. Shout out to Amber. Amber, happy Friday. It's happy hour. Pass the apps. Thank you so much for watching. And part of that Wager Wire team and community. You guys do amazing work. Keep up the great work. Olympics, June, July, August, September, Wager Wire. I couldn't be prouder to be a part of that team, having them as a partner and a proud sponsor. Any last thoughts, Riley?
Any last thoughts, my friend? It's usually not the season where we talk too much about it, and it's usually the dead period, but the transfer portal is making it a little more interesting to talk about right now. A team in the Big Ten that we talked about as this past season was a huge season for them, and they obviously met those expectations or even exceeded expectations in the regular season. Saved their coach's job in Greg Gard. 3 of their top 5 scorers, one of them graduating, I believe, in Tyler Wall. Chucky Hepburn and now AJ Storr in the transfer portal. I guess I don't think Chucky Hepburn's picked a spot, so obviously he could choose to come back, I suppose. But AJ Storr out the door into Kansas. So after a quick exit in what should probably be another big season here, as I'll keep saying, I'm sure next year for Greg Gard and this as keeping his job in Wisconsin. Losing some firepower there. Obviously, plenty of time. Maybe he reloads and finds some other options, maybe. But not a good start to the transfer portal season there for the Badgers and the Big Ten, my friend. Just to throw us a little post-championship college basketball talk our way.
Yeah, and speaking of that, UConn taking the hits, Klingon's going into the draft, and of course we lose Cam Spencer. He was a fifth-year graduate, and then we end up losing. I think it was Tristan, our freshman sensation, decided to tap out and go to the NBA draft. But we stole. Can you give me some insight? We got I think the kid from Michigan State, correct?
Michigan.
Michigan.
He's a solid 27, 30 minutes a game last year. I'm looking at him right now. 6'10", 265, 9 points a game. So 7.2 rebounds. So that's a good steal for sure. That'll be a good rotational piece for sure. If not one of the, maybe not the face of the team, but one of the more important pieces of that team next year. So that is a good start to replenish this roster, going for a potential three-peat, but obviously got a lot of work to do there to achieve that. But no, that's a good start, man. Terrace Reed Jr. is his name for those who are not following us. Skipping town after a decent season himself in an ugly spot in Michigan there. So that's a good piece for sure. Good piece and stealing from the Wolverines there.
Going to be a quiet weekend here. Potential baseball show Saturday afternoon with Scott Webb. I'll be reaching out to him to see if we'll do any odds couple with the Webby odds there. We're going to give Riley the weekend off, enjoy some, hopefully, Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics on Sunday. That's what we're hoping for, Riley. And then we'll bounce back the start of the week. Myself and Riley will reach out, and then we'll figure out what days and nights the closing bell will be on there. Shout out to Amber. Thanks for joining us, Amber. Have a great weekend to you. Of course, go follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson1. You can follow myself here at EC Sports Invest. And anyone new to our channel, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe. It's free. Just like the WagerWire app, go over to Google Play and download that as well. So everyone, fade the public Friday. Don't be the pizza man. Enjoy yourself. Have some fun. Cash a few tickets, and we will see you soon.